Sally and I'm a clay artist. I do figurative work, so I model heads and bodies and kind of expressions and gesture about how we are as people. I've actually always loved clay. My favourite place to be when I was at school was in the pottery classroom. The funny thing was I had a kind of two-part life, so I went through school and polytechnic and foundation course. I did a degree in clay, actually in Staffordshire, but when I graduated I hadn't quite planned it that way, but I didn't go near clay again for 30 years and didn't touch it at all. I think probably I had the narrative that I hadn't done so well in my exams at school, and I didn't realise that I just loved the art, and I thought I'd done that because I couldn't do anything else. So I got lost a little bit in that process. So I had a completely different career, and the really funny thing is that in my 40s I did a master's in science, which took several years to do as part of my work, and once I got it, I didn't plan this either, but once I'd qualified with that, it put to bed the idea that I couldn't be academic. I could be academic, that wasn't the issue. The issue was I wanted to do art. I'd always wanted to do art, and doing the masters just enabled me to resign from my job and my career and start again, or reboot and come back to what I really loved. So that's difficult because you're building up later in your life from the scratch and finding your way with that. But it was also amazing. So I'd saved up a bit of money in my job. I just started messing about, actually, creative stuff, not even clay stuff. And I went to a local college to do a 2-hour class on a Friday with other adults who were mostly retired and just having a laugh, and messed about with clay. And within 2 weeks, I just knew where I was supposed to be. And I bought my own clay. I started setting up a table at home. I just worked all the time, just worked. I just furiously worked because I was catching up on 30 years. And then I really worked on that and kind of created a body of work and found my way with it. And then I started putting pieces into exhibitions and started that process. All again, completely weird world that I didn't know. I wasn't even going to exhibitions or galleries in the 30 years I hadn't been, it's just bizarre. Anyway, the lovely thing that came from that is one of the exhibitions locally that I had a piece of work in. I won a little prize, and then I had no idea, but anybody who won a prize had the opportunity to apply for a residency. So I applied because I thought, I've been working on my own for a while. I need to be with other people. I need to start stepping back into the world. And the residency was the first time that I worked with children and adults on the high street, just doing workshops in clay. And I loved it. And the children loved it. The children are lovely and they love clay, and it was just a wonderful experience. So from that point on, it's been lots of little steps which found me where I am now, working as an associate artist with Partners in Creative Learning, and you get matched with a school. And depending on what the school has a need for and would like their children to have something to, a medium they want them to explore, I was matched with a primary school in Abbey Holton called Calm Outside Primary School. And I'm just kind of in love, to be honest. The children are just, all of the children, every class, they're fabulous. They fill your heart. And all you want to do is work really, really hard for them. You want them to have a lovely time. We don't just do clay, we work in cardboard, we do printing. We kind of mess around with all kinds of things, but the clay is always there, making something, painting something, and finding your own way, your own kind of fingerprint, really, of what you like to do as an individual. So, although this is all about creative careers, I think the most important thing is whether you have a creative career or not as an individual, it's really important to have some form of creative outlet, some way of expressing yourself at all different stages in your life. And it serves you well because it kind of is like a mirror to you. It tells you, it helps you understand who you are, what you like, what you don't like. So a common question is to ask somebody doing a particular thing, what would your advice be? I think my advice mainly would be, whatever age you are, sometimes, like myself, it takes you a long time to actually see who you are and what you really want to do. Just while you're exploring the world and what exams you want to take and what courses you want to do and what exhibitions you want to be a part of, make sure that some of that time you are looking at yourself. You need to understand who you are, and you probably know a lot more than you think. What kind of person are you? Do you like being with other people? Are you really happy being behind the camera or in front of the camera? Are you quiet? Are you loud? Have you got a lot of energy that needs to be expressed? Do you like being a mix? You like being with people, but you also need time on your own. These things really help you understand where you're going to be most productive and most happy in your career and your social life. And when you get those things right and you connect up, just like the school did with me, connecting up me as an artist with the children and what they wanted to do, you bridge that gap. And when they say you never work again, of course you always work really hard and sometimes it's really stressful. But when it's the right thing, the work mainly is a joy and you love going to do it and you want to do more. And I think that's the advice I can give you. It'll serve you so well throughout your life.